themselves as professionals as they have covered campaigns and interviewed candidates from all sides of the aisle. I'll also say that if you talk to analysts of debates previous, that if you're attacking the moderators, you're usually losing. So I really want to focus in on what these two men are going to do and say when they stand on the stage. Now, we have a little bit of what Donald Trump, your boss, has said in trying to set expectations for this debate. I want to play a series of his comments, and then we'll talk about it. Watch.
Well, maybe I'm better off losing the debate. I'll make sure he says I'll lose the debate on purpose. Maybe I'll do something like that.
I assume he's going to be somebody that will be a worthy debater.
Should I be tough and nasty and just say you're the worst president in history? Or should I be nice and calm and let him speak?
So he's basically saying there, well, will I let Joe Biden win? It does seem as though many Republicans have set the bar very low in terms of arguing that Joe Biden is basically senile. Now you have people like Doug Burgum coming out and saying, well, President Biden's very accomplished, trying to set expectations in a different place. What do you expect from Joe Biden?
Well, first of all, it would take someone 5 minutes to Google Jake Tapper, Donald Trump, to see that Jake Tapper has consistently frequently likened President Trump to Adolf Hitler.
Ma'am, I'm going to stop this interview if you continue to attack my colleagues. I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
Yes.
If you are here to speak on his behalf, I am willing to have this conversation.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay.
Now,
I'm sorry, guys. We're going to come back out to the panel. Caroline, thank you very much for your time. You are welcome to come back at any point. She is welcome to come back and speak about Donald Trump, and Donald Trump will have equal time to Joe Biden when they both join us now at later this week in Atlanta for this debate. Our thanks to Caroline.
That was Donald Trump's National Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt getting kicked off the air during an interview with CNN's Casey Hunt after Leavitt proved incapable of not using her time to discuss Jake Tapper, which, to be clear, shouldn't come as a surprise. Trump and his mouthpieces aren't able to discuss anything not in the context of how Trump's the perpetual victim. And so here, in the lead up to Thursday's debate, rather than just speaking about Trump himself, Leavitt's sole priority is framing her boss as the victim at the hands of Jake Tapper. Tell you what, for a guy who tries so hard to be a strongman, Donald Trump sure does revel in making himself out to be a whiny little bit. And of course, what followed should come as even less of a surprise. Leavitt went immediately from CNN to Steve Bannon's podcast, so that not only could Trump be the victim, but now Caroline Leavitt can make herself out to be the victim as well. Now, all of these people have been victimized by the scary news people at CNN.
I've never seen such disrespect. They have never in the history of television ever taken a national press secretary and treated her with such lack of respect. Cassie Hunt owes you an apology. CNN owes you an apology today. And if we don't get that apology to Caroline Leavitt and to the Trump campaign and to MAGA today, President Trump should cancel this. It's not 3-on-1. They have the entire news apparatus because she had a producer. You know, Caroline, you've done so much TV. She had a producer in her ear saying, cut her off, yeah, because you had the facts. Tell me, what is your beef? What is Caroline Leavitt's beef with with a fake news Jake Tapper and Dana Bash, ma'am?
Well, I thought you were going to ask what my beef with Casey Hunt is. I was going to say I don't have any. I've never even met this woman. I was brought on the program to simply talk about debate prep. And again, we thought it was fair game to bring up past statements that Jake Tapper especially has made about Donald Trump in the past. For instance, after Joe Biden was installed in the White House, Jake Tapper said that the long national nightmare of Donald Trump's presidency has finally come to an end. Jake Tapper was one of the lead voices pushing the Russia hoax, which we always knew it all along, but CNN has been forced to admit that was manufactured by Hillary Clinton and the Democrats. Jake Tapper allowed Joe Biden to lie on CNN years ago, and I wanted to bring this up this morning, but time didn't allow. I hope CNN will ask Joe Biden if he wants to correct himself when he said on CNN 4 years ago that the Hunter Biden laptop was disinformation. Jake Tapper allowed him to spew this lie. Jake Tapper has pushed the Charlottesville hoax lie that they've been ramming against President Trump for years. He also has frequently compared President Trump to Hitler. So this is a guy who has clearly made his opinions about President Trump known. It's not me making that up. This is who he is. He's an anti-Trump leftist who's a former Democrat staffer, yet he's given the privilege of hosting this debate. And so I thought it was worthy bringing those comments up. Clearly, CNN doesn't want their audience to know the truth about fake Tapper. They want people to believe they're truly the most trusted name in news, yet they can't even handle a spokesperson for the leading candidate in this race bringing up facts and truths about what one of their debate moderators have said.
First of all, remember this. Trump's team literally agreed to this debate. They were not forced to do anything they didn't want to do. They knew what the network was, they knew who the moderators were. The fact that they're suddenly crying foul isn't because anything changed, because they were aware of this all along and literally agreed to it all. The difference is that they need to be perceived as the victims. And so they're ramping up the excuses now to try and give cover to Trump when he inevitably looks like a clown on that stage. And second, not for nothing, but I don't know what CNN was expecting by virtue of engaging with the Trump official. These people do not operate in good faith. Caroline Leavitt did not go on that network today to have a good faith conversation. She went on likely knowing that she would get kicked off for the express purpose of then being able to run and cry to Steve Bannon and perpetuate the exact victimhood scheme that she's perpetuating right now. Think about it. Leavitt's whole point on going on CNN was to frame Republicans as being under attack by CNN, which of course got her kicked off the air. And now she goes on Steve Bannon to claim that the fact that she was kicked off the air is further evidence of that same exact attack mentality. It is a vicious cycle, and it all started because CNN decided to let someone who was always operating in bad faith come on the air and roll them. I don't know how many times these people have to touch a hot stove to recognize that it's hot. Trump campaign staff are not acting in good faith, they will never act in good faith, and the only people who will be worse off by virtue of having them on the air are the people who give them a platform. But here's an especially interesting point. You'll notice that Steve Bannon said this.
And we don't get that apology to Caroline Leavitt and to the Trump campaign and to MAGA today, President Trump should cancel this.
That Trump should cancel the debate if Caroline Leavitt doesn't get an apology from CNN. First of all, Steve Bannon and the rest of the right knows that CNN is not going to issue an apology, which means that Bannon is effectively just calling on Trump to back out. And this wouldn't be the first Trump mouthpiece to call for exactly that.
Now, there are some even saying, Mark, that Donald Trump might be wise to just pass on the first debate, wait till he's nominated, then debate him. What would you say to that?
Hell, even Trump himself has begun setting expectations here by perpetuating the whole Joe Biden is taking drugs talking point.
Because they want to get him good and strong, so a little before debate time he gets a shot in the ass, and that's... They want to strengthen him up. So he comes out, he'll come out, I say he'll come out all jacked up, right? All jacked up.
If that doesn't put on full display the extent to which these people are very clearly scared about what's going to happen on Thursday, nothing will. So the Trump campaign will of course ramp up these attacks against CNN because even though they agreed to this debate, even though they agreed to the rules, even though they agreed to the moderators, somehow they've become the victims yet again. And so either Trump will show up and have laid the foundation to explain away an awful performance by claiming that everyone on that stage was against him from the start, or he won't even bother showing up at all, which his mouthpieces have clearly been pushing for, likely because they know what will happen when the American people are reminded about who Donald Trump is, and that is a ranting, raving, dangerous, self-obsessed, megalomaniacal, narcissistic lunatic who should be in prison instead of the White House. The fact is that there is a reason that 81 million Americans ensured that Trump would lose his job in November of 2020, and those same people are going to be given a reason yet again as to why they need to do the same this November. I've got a really exciting announcement. I've written a book. It's called Shameless. This book explores how Republicans have exploited their historical branding while attacking our democracy, how the media has proven itself a willful participant, and how Democrats can learn from this to rebalance the political scales and save our democracy. It has been a lifelong dream of mine to write my own book, and so I'd like to ask you to pre-order it by clicking the link right here on the screen. And if you buy within this pre-order period, your book is going to come with a signed nameplate. As you know, I've never had a single sponsor on my channel. I don't ask for money or anything like that, but if you're looking for a way to support me, this is hands down the best way to do it. So again, follow the link right here on the screen, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for pre-ordering Shameless. And as always, make sure to subscribe to see more of my content.